We've all experienced the benefits of globalisation during the past decades, but the pandemic has also exposed its frailties. Supply chains have been severely impacted, in particular the production of computer chips, which are at the heart of the world's digital transformation. I spoke to a business leader this week in the country at the centre of the story, Taiwan.
The good news story is nobody is sitting on their hands, neither in the United States, Taiwan, Europe, or elsewhere. They're working on addressing these constraints and bottlenecks. So we see an easing situation going forward.
Mm. You know, you only need to look at a company like TSMC. This particular company manufactures something like 90% of the world, so the global need for high-end chips, which really shows the importance of Taiwan within this supply chain. But it's not only the key, the electronics components themselves, it's also, again, going back to an earlier point, the transport, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Taiwan at the moment controls around 10% of the world's liner fleet. It's a huge container ship operator on a global level.
Yes, indeed. And the wider context that's playing out is the fact that Taiwan's experience in moving from the pandemic to the post-COVID endemic phase is a bit slower than other major markets. I think that's complicating all kinds of issues, whether it's air cargo, so important to the high-value products that we're talking about here, or sea cargo. The bigger framework of Taiwan being later into the COVID dislocations and now later out are exacerbating some of those situations. So that's something that the Chamber has very forthrightly and strongly called on the government to do what it can, not just for people flow, but for the incredibly important goods logistics in and out of Taiwan.
Therein lies really the risk, I suppose. You know, when you look at where Taiwan is placed, as we've been discussing within the global supply chain, and how that global dependency is there, how much of a risk then does the China-US relationship play into this for Taiwan?
Well, it's certainly in the background, and it's certainly focused attention. I think we would have had some of these same discussions coming out of COVID and the Ukraine crisis in any case. But this framework of the strong tension, and now we see long-term competition on technological and other fronts between Western nations and China really focuses on this critical sector because microelectronics in particular are so important. So it gives Taiwan some leverage. But Taiwan must be very sensitive and careful about how it uses that leverage in trying to be part of a stronger global supply chain, maintaining we would expect linkages with China as well. So it's a delicate balancing act. But another strength that I would underscore for Taiwan is there's some real synergies. So just as there are other countries pulling on Taiwan, asking for investment in the semiconductor sector, Taiwan has good reason for globalizing and moving off the island, or certainly diversifying out of northern Taiwan to, say, southern Taiwan. There are rising cost factors, constraints around labor, water, power, talent that Taiwan needs to overcome to increase this sector and go into new sectors. There also is a need to be closer to the customer. And I think that's driving, as much as Beijing-Washington tension, the desire for TSMC, UMC, other players to be closer to their customers.